Welcome, guys, to the Canadiens Cafe podcast with your host, Nick, and my co host, Grant.
Hello, hello.
So let's get right into it today. So, over the last four games, the Habs have gone 3-1 since we last spoke. Been pretty good,
Which, yeah,
honestly.
been pretty what we expected, yeah, or not what we expected, but what we asked for. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's what we obviously
very
asked
good
for. We were
there.
maybe hoping for a win against the Leafs. I would have rather dropped the game against the Rangers, to be honest, because,
Yeah,
but you know what it is. It is what it is. Look, they needed to face some adversity. It just sucks it had to happen against the Leafs of all
yeah,
teams.
and they kind of let it slip away from them, but I think it was like a lesson learned kind of thing, and I feel like we wouldn't have the 3-1 if it wasn't for that loss to the Leafs there. So, in a way, it is beneficial to us, even though we did lose that one game to them.
And I
But
feel like,
it was kind of like a kick in the butt that they deserved.
yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like coming from behind is their way of winning. Because if they're not
yeah.
coming from behind, they seem to maybe they can't shut down a game, but they can come back and win a game. They need to figure out on how to shut down a game, and that's going to happen within time with working on being a better team. Because now they've hit the corner since I'll say December 15th. Or since December 17th, I saw it yesterday something that they they're the highest scoring team since December 17th in the NHL.
I saw that stat too, and like you were saying, like in a way, like it kind of reminds me, like every game that they play now is kind of like a test of like like okay, we're performing well, but let's keep it up. Like Detroit is a perfect example tomorrow, where it just seems like an average game in January, but no, like you're winning. Like it's some like every game means something now to them,
Yeah.
like in this situation. You've been winning in December, you've been winning in January. Every game is kind of like a game that you go into it as you need to win the game. And it's a good test for the young guys. So for
Yeah,
sure.
but yeah, it's been over a month that they've been this good. Like they're 13-3-1 in the last 17, which is the best in the NHL. Who would have
Yeah.
ever thought of that?
Yeah.
And
Line definitely really helped with that.
Line
I know I
helps,
always
but
say it, but the team, when it's healthy, is like, I knew they would be good, but the fact that they're just winning. And like, even when they play, it shows like they're playing in a winning way. It's so easy to watch, and you can watch the game with your heart almost without your heart pounding against your chest every time.
yeah, every game you're sitting on the edge of your seat now
Yeah,
too.
yeah, you are because now you're not worried about like you are worried about when the puck goes the other way, but like you're excited when you watch the game. Like you're on the edge of your seat because you're watching the offense perform. You're not on the edge of your seat because it's a defensive pressure and defensive collapse, which they still happen from time to time, but every team has that. So, but we're getting the other side to that too.
I just checked what happened on December 17th just to see. So on December 17th was the game that they beat Buffalo where they destroyed Buffalo and it
That
hit
was
them
the
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember
And
that. I
then
was
the
there, I
next day
think.
they trade for Alex Carrier because I wasn't sure if like that was the date they got Carrier, but I forgot that the Habs had won 6-1 the day before, so might as well keep that game in mind too because Liney was on fire. Liney
He
continues to be
was.
on fire.
Yeah.
Last night I was happy to see him get assists. It shows that he could be a bit more than just a goal scorer. Kind of like what
And it's against a tough team like Tampa too. It's not just against a random team that you're playing.
yeah,
So
no.
yeah.
No, exactly. And Lane Hudson, 9 game uh rookie point streak with all assists. Well, it's a 9 game assist streak. He could now break the record that he shares with Shane Gostisbehere
Yes, he
currently.
can. And I saw he was I saw a crazy stat. Was it goals or points? But he's leading over Brady Kachuk in I think one of goals or points, I think,
Points.
in
Goals,
points this
no.
season. Yeah.
He only has three, but it's because he's
Okay,
got
yeah.
like the most assists on the team by far.
Yeah, that's why I thought it kind of crazy, but then I was like, okay, but points makes kind of more sense. So yeah. And that's still very impressive. And
Oh yeah,
he's
like he,
it's gonna
he
be him. It's gonna be him or Celebrini for the Calder.
yeah. Right now,
For
I
sure.
think right now he's running away with it because he's getting a point every game. But
Yeah.
thing is, Celebrini is alone on his team. Like he doesn't have as many pieces. Actually, like, he does not alone. Bedard's alone. Sorry to say it, but yeah, Bedard.
He's still eligible. It's true. Yeah.
But he's ineligible. But
Oh, he
I'm
is
wondering
ineligible.
if
Okay.
Celebrini is better than Bedard because he's coming in a lot better than Bedard was. But that also says like, oh, is he? he also has more of a team around him.
Mhm.
What Chicago gave Bedard, and it looks like even the free agents they signed. What happened to Tyler Bertuzzi this year?
Yeah, yeah. Chicago, I feel, is more equipped to help their team faster, like help build their team faster, just because they are the Blackhawks and they kind of want to get back on that more. And they already did have a more of a head start than they did with San Jose, but it's going to be a tough to see who rebuilds better or faster between Chicago and San Jose.
Yeah, for
Um,
for last place, but I think San Jose's rebuild is already going way better, even though
it is
they got the
because
first pick.
well, Chicago has Colorado to deal with. They have Minnesota to deal with. I mean, San Jose, they're in the Pacific right now, which Anaheim is struggling. LA's better,
Yeah,
but they are. It seems to me like just because of the divisions, how they're split up, because they play those teams more often. Maybe that's the reason why.
so
But
you're saying
no, the
because of the
roster
division
construction
too,
is
but
it,
you
it
saw
factors
the.
in. It factors in. I mean,
I'm sorry, but
it's
like even at that, San Jose is still a little more competitive in their games overall lately, at least.
they are, and lately, yes, for sure.
And
But
yeah,
I mean, it's tough to say because every situation is different. So I don't know. I feel like Chicago's going to be better, like in the short term, like in the shorter term than San Jose will. I feel like Chicago's going to have the
I
rebuild
think
faster than
it's
San
no in the
Jose will.
shorter term, maybe it would be the opposite because in the shorter term, they've got nothing but Bedard.
No, but well, nothing. I mean, they don't have nothing.
They don't have
Do they
they
have
don't
picks?
have that great of
Mind you.
or around
Okay, so
Bedard.
so San Jose has Will Smith. They have Celebrini. They
Not
have
Will Smith. They've got
they have
William Eklund.
Toffoli,
William
Eklund.
Eklund. Victor Eklund will be drafted. His brother will be drafted this year, arguably at the same exact spot
Hmm.
too, around seventh. It's like the Nylander brothers. Remember,
Yeah, I
Alex
do.
Nylander kind of busted, but he got drafted the same spot as his brother, almost actually one pick higher. He was picked seventh. Did you? Speaking of things with the
They're okay. So Chicago and San Jose are like very similar in the standings. Did
yeah,
not see that before. Wow. Okay, I
yeah,
thought I
I
thought
just
Chicago was
saw it.
better off.
Well, San
Yeah,
Jose's like 4 points ahead, but the truth is, if Chicago wins two games, they're tied, and they play
yeah.
the same amount of games because also Chicago has two more games to play this season.
I thought
But
Chicago was better. That's my mistake. I thought Chicago was better.
no, no, no. I could tell you that I actually thought San Jose was more ahead than that originally,
Mm.
just because that's how bad Chicago has been. It got so bad that Bedard had his like the report when he was talking to the reporters. What was
I
it
remember that.
last
Yeah,
week?
I heard that. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not good in Chicago right now, and they didn't surround
No,
him with the right talent. Like Tyler Bertuzzi kind of disappeared. Um, I think Tivo Teravainen's okay, but he's not playing on a
he's
line with him.
no, he's always been okay, but yeah, I mean Chicago.
Taylor Hall isn't
I
on a
thought they
line
I
with
thought they had well Hall. It's if he does like if he played like he did in Buffalo, I feel like maybe there's something there. But yeah, let me take a look at the Chicago roster.
Hall in Buffalo
I mean,
wasn't great.
no, but it was the one like it was like the like it's what gave him I feel like another chance to like play or continue to play. It wasn't great, but it wasn't like defining that okay he can't play.
Yeah.
Chicago.
See if you can fix your audio a little bit.
About now better.
Go speak.
Yep, testing. Hello, hello.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, so I'll just like here. I'll
I think
switch
it's
it a
better
bit more.
without the AirPods.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying
Uh,
about Taylor Hall?
yeah. Let me take a look at his stats here. Not the stats. I want to see Chicago's roster, but that's okay.
Yo, we're looking at
No, I
Chicago
really,
Blackhawks right now.
yeah. I thought they were better off. I mean, I know San Jose didn't have nobody. Like I know
Well,
they had the
San
Foley.
Jose
They
was
had
meant to be rough, but they're bringing in more young talent than
they're
Chicago
bringing
is
it in
currently.
quicker. That's for sure. So yeah, they are. I just thought that Chicago's roster, even though like okay, maybe not as many
I don't know.
prospects, but you
So
still
yeah,
had more of a bolstered lineup.
yeah, no, that they're not right now.
Yeah.
Teravainen's the second line center. That's why. But
Mm.
Bedard has been doing a little bit better lately since they fired their coach and they fired Luke Richardson
Yeah,
and
they
brought in a
did.
new guy. He's been
Yeah.
doing a bit better, but it's been a rough season in Chicago, definitely. And you know, Hall is clearly not the player he once was.
No, he's not.
So that's another
And the
thing.
whole thing about firing the coach, like I feel like every time a head coach is fired, the new coach will do a bit better to start off, just because it's the team that gets a kick in the butt, because they know that they're like, I don't know if they're next, but like normally when the coach is fired, it's like kind of like the warning shot before the players move, and
Yeah.
and there's a sign that okay, we've changed the coach, it's the players.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the way it is. And like
Yeah.
when you change a coach, sometimes guys get hot for a little while. Like look at Boston right after they fired
Oh yeah, you're right there.
Montgomery. For a little bit they were good, like really good, but they're definitely faltering.
They're
It's
faltering
pretty
now.
evident.
Yeah,
They're gonna miss
the cracks are showing in the wall. Yeah,
they're gonna miss the playoffs this year. Like a lot of people say they're in the hunt. I don't see look, I could see
I
like
could see them missing it,
no,
but I
I
can also
think they
see
are.
them as a
I'm
wild
gonna
card.
say why. Look, I don't know if Montreal's going to make the playoffs. I'm not going to necessarily put Montreal in the playoffs, but I'm going to tell you right now, Ottawa Senators are definitely making the playoffs. You can quote me on that. They're definitely making the playoffs.
They're right there. They
They're right
are
there,
improving.
but Ottawa is making it because they're on the uprise. I think the Rangers come back because they're slowly figuring it out. It'll be a fight
Mhm.
between Montreal, Columbus, Detroit, and the Rangers for that last playoff spot.
So, question for you, because other teams are other teams. If Montreal continues at this pace, do you think they're buying at the deadline?
No, they shouldn't. I
They
think
should. I think they should say status quo. I agree with you.
yeah. Or get something, maybe get an extra forward. Because look, like like a depth forward. You're not because playing Pizzetta doesn't work necessarily. You can't play him 3 minutes a night. Look, they were playing Doc Beck,
They called Owen Beck. Yeah, they called Owen Beck up for 2 games, and
but
he got sent down.
they
Yeah,
sent him back down today.
yeah, yeah. They did.
I don't know if you saw that. They sent him
I
back down.
did. Yeah,
I don't agree with that because you know what that means? You're going to be playing 11 forwards and you're just going to play Pizzetta for 4 or 5 minutes when you can play Owen Beck for like 10, which is the
unless
right
they're playing.
amount for a because half
The
the
only
forward
yeah,
he doesn't even play in,
the only
you know?
reason why I can see them moving down Beck is maybe for a future move, maybe, or for a different player.
Yeah, like get a guy like
Uh,
a depth guy that you can bring if you don't want to call guys up from Laval. I
maybe that,
mean,
or maybe they're analyzing their guys in Laval now. Maybe that's what they're doing. They're
yeah,
realizing like, hey,
what
these are our guys
they
in
should
Laval,
have
but we need to do something about it.
like I'm okay with them sending back down, but you should have called up like a Davidson or a Kundata.
I agree.
I thought maybe it was a test to see how Doc is doing, which it kind of was.
Kind of.
Doc. Why do I keep calling him Doc Beck?
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about Doc, but I'm like, yeah, he's been doing well. So I'm like,
Well,
yeah,
Doc is doing
but
well.
yeah, he is.
Oh,
And
it's 1-0 Bruins right now. Their game started against the
the
Devils, who are
Devils, yeah.
falling apart randomly too. Like they're losing games left and right. They were
Are
like,
they still in a playoff spot?
yeah.
They
They're
are,
still
eh?
comfortable in a playoff spot, but they're losing their way out, like kind of like the Rangers
Yeah,
were. And they
yeah,
could
but
end
yeah,
up losing their way out of that. That's who the
yeah.
Habs play on Saturday.
Yes, they do.
They're playing a struggling Devils team.
That's also another good test. So yeah, yeah. Not only do you have Detroit, but you also have New Jersey. Yeah, good couple of games coming up.
Yeah. But what I wanted to check for Beck was how many minutes he played last night.
Um, yeah, Detroit's currently at eighth right now in the standings for the
Yeah.
conference for that well for the wild card.
Well, you know, like
Um,
Detroit is going to be one of our biggest rivals. Oh, he only played 657, but he still played more minutes than a guy like Pizzetta, who you put him out for what, 3 minutes a game, every game now? You,
yeah,
I could understand maybe just cutting it almost seems like they're trying to just cut their costs to go to Detroit and they're coming right back to Montreal so
kind
they
of,
don't
kind of, yeah.
that kind of sucks with the schedule. Like
It
they're going to
does.
play one game away after playing 3 games at home and they go right back home and then it's like it's been like this all of
This
January.
this part of the schedule is where it gets that kind of but I feel like it's just because of the Four Nations face off because like I feel like they have to make space for that in the season for Montreal games to happen.
Yeah, but like
I feel like without that,
the
maybe it
whole
would have been a bit
NHL is
more.
going to be on pause, so that doesn't really make a difference in my opinion.
Yeah, it yes and no, but it's because our arena is getting. I know. I mean, I know the whole arena, the whole NHL is
Yeah,
going to be
our
on
arena
pause.
and Boston's arena there,
Yeah, yeah, maybe I don't know.
but yeah, no. So yeah, Beck played 6:57 last night.
7 minutes.
Not bad. He didn't have a bad game. He
I feel like fourth
doesn't
line is
look out of
typically
place.
10. Yeah, it doesn't look out of place. I feel like fourth line is typically 10 on a good night or
He's gonna be
averages
a
10.
third, fourth liner. He's not gonna play very high in the lineup.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of people are saying let's call up Joshua Roy for the fourth line. I don't think that's the type of player you want to put on your fourth line.
Not on the fourth line. I agree with
No,
you
he's
there. Like I want
there's
him
certain
called up, but not
guys.
on the fourth.
If they can't make it in your top three lines, they'll net. You shouldn't even bring them up.
Yeah, and we don't really have any significant injuries right now, so there's really no point
No, well,
for
we have the one
that.
there, the one
The
tragic.
one,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty big. But even though on ESPN today, I was because I was looking for work and stuff.
Yep.
I was looking for different like trends I can go with, going through
Right.
different games because I want to. I'm doing an odds boost tomorrow on Bet Online, one assist for
Okay.
Hudson to get 10 games in a row an assist. So we're gonna boost the odds on that. See if we
Okay.
get people to
Sounds
bet
good.
on it. Even though it's
Right, right.
Americans, it might be a good plan to try and get that
For sure.
going.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
is an
I can see
American
that.
too, so maybe and people probably are starting to catch on with him. Like the
Well,
hockey bettors, probably in the US, probably know about him too.
well, Caulfield is a big name as well. So you have Caulfield, then you have Hudson here too.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, but the
it could be catching
point of
on
that is that you try and choose a guy that's like really on a hot streak.
for sure.
So a lot of the time, there's a lot of time I take a guy like McDavid,
Right.
McKinnon, Draisaitl.
Yeah,
Those are a lot of the guys I'll take. But I
for sure.
decided I wanted to do one of my own that I would really like, and I went with Hudson.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
That
gonna
sounds
be.
good. It's yeah.
So I'll see the odds tomorrow, and then we'll put it up on the website. It'd be nice for the Americans to see that, to see the Montreal because the Montreal Canadiens are for real now.
Yes, they are. And it feels so good saying that.
Yeah, it's beautiful to be placed in a playoff spot right now. There
It
is
does. It really does.
honestly,
And
if the playoffs ended and we had or the season ended and we had to play Washington, I'd feel confident that we could push Washington to like 6, 7 games in a playoffs.
it's kind of like that house money kind of situation where yeah, okay, fine, maybe we're not expecting to win the round, but we can go for
Yeah,
like it
like
won't be an easy game, like series.
no, we're not gonna roll over like Washington did last year. Washington
No,
last year when they who were they playing? Rangers.
Carolina, the Rangers, that's what it
It
was.
was
Yeah.
just easy. It was
Yeah.
easy for the Rangers, and it's because I felt Washington wasn't
They
like
have a good mix of
playoff
young
caliber
guys
team.
and veterans. They do. Yeah.
But now this season, they were able to figure it out. It's funny because they Pierre-Luc Dubois fits right in. So maybe we could be like them and sneak in, but we would be different
That
in
would be,
the way
oh
that
my God. If Montreal versus Washington happens, not only do you have that, you have Dubois and Liney facing off in the playoffs.
oh my God, that would be
Wow, that'd
crazy.
be
Yeah.
insane.
Because right now that's what the matchup would be if it ended today.
Right. Yeah.
It would be
I,
crazy.
I just realized that now. You're right.
Because honestly, our division, the Atlantic, they're not doing too hot right now. Except for
The winds are
Toronto.
changing. Winds are changing. Yeah, Toronto's been on a hot streak. Well, ever since they cut off their losing streak, they've been on a pretty good hot streak.
Yeah. But Florida, yeah. Florida's okay,
Florida's
but Florida's been a little
consistent.
and Tampa is slowly falling.
That's
They're
why the
kind of
Montreal
more of a
game
middling team in the NHL.
they are, and it's kind of like I'm comparing them a bit to like the LA Kings after they won their 2 cups. Like now it's like they're at the stage where like what do we do now? But they're still competitive enough to make the playoffs. So the smart thing to do would be to like kind of be like Vegas, where you just I don't know,
Yeah,
you
try
cut
and
your
add
guy,
on.
and they already did that with Stamkos, so that's a good start. Um, but then
Yeah,
they're
like
gonna they're
and
gonna
Stamkos, it just isn't working in Nashville. I think what's going on now,
nah.
So maybe it was the best to get rid of him, but maybe he would have done
Yeah,
differently in Tampa. But yeah, no,
maybe
and Tampa's within reach too. Like the Habs could potentially end up in the third spot in the division.
they can. Yeah,
So
and
could
that's
Ottawa.
why. So I
Honestly, that might be where Ottawa ends up if this
I
continues.
could see that. That's what I was
Because
just about to
I
say. Yeah,
truly think Ottawa is making the playoffs, like I said, straight up. I think Montreal has about as it stands 50-50 chance.
I'm kind of there too. Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
feel like Ottawa. I feel like Ottawa depends on their goaltending, but
Columbus ride on the whole momentum of fighting for Goudreau. They don't have the talent though. They lack a lot of talent on
they
paper.
do. They do.
And that's one
They're
thing
not
I'm
there
not
yet.
sure about Columbus.
They're
Like
not there
Columbus
yet,
is a great
but
story.
it is a great
If
story.
the Habs were to miss the playoffs, just miss out, the team you'd want to like just beat them out on that spot is Columbus.
Well, that happened in 2018, 2019.
Yeah, but this
Or
is
did
different.
did
It's
did Columbus
different
even
this year.
make? Oh yeah,
This
they
year
did
it's
make it.
different.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Last time it hurt a lot more.
It did. It was like by
This
one
time, if it's
stinking point.
Columbus, it'll hurt a little less. Also, because I don't think expectations are playoffs for the Habs this year, anyways. It's to be in the mix. And I
If
will
we're
be,
keeping pace, if we're
but
keeping pace like this in February or like till the end of February, March, I feel like then we'd expect playoffs. If you're comfortably in third in late February, March, I feel like
yeah,
okay,
I
don't
don't,
lose it.
yeah, well, comfortably in a playoff spot. The Habs aren't going to be comfortable in a playoff spot all year. There's no way. The rest of
If
the
we
way.
if we
This is going
continue
to
at
be a
this
fight
pace,
to the
maybe.
tooth and nail.
I mean, it can be. It can be.
Unless they continue being the hottest team in hockey.
If Boston drops off, which that could
Boston is
happen,
dropping off slowly. What's the
they
score?
are slowly, yeah. I don't know. If they're in third place, I feel like that's a comfortable spot because then you have that gap of the wild card in third.
Well, yeah,
Um,
anyone. I think third place and anything could happen. Third place to the two wild cards.
yeah, it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, it'll be. Also, it's gonna be weird, but we're gonna. I guess in some way we're supposed to cheer for the Leafs to beat Columbus tonight.
Nope,
Seems weird
it does,
to say
but
that, but that's what the schedule is showing.
I'm
It,
just
it's
you're not cheering for
easy.
you're not cheering for the Leafs to win. You're cheering for Columbus to lose. There you go.
Yeah. So New Jersey has lost. Let's see right here, how many games in a row they've lost. I think they've lost like their last five straight games. It's ridiculous. This
Wow.
team doesn't. I don't know what's going on.
Let me see the
But
last five opponents.
I swear, like I saw something earlier today that they had lost five straight, and this is a team that the Habs can maybe jump on if
So they
this.
lost to Ottawa 2-1. They lost to Philly 3-1. They overtime lost to Toronto 4-3 and lost to Florida in overtime 1-2. So you had three one-goal games, and Philly was the two-goal game. But if it's an empty netter, that's basically a
But
one
their
goal.
their January has been, yeah, they
Loss, loss, win, loss, win, loss, 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 loss. Oof.
and
Yeah.
losing
Yeah.
right now losing.
Right now losing.
It-
They're not having a Habs January.
no, right now they're not. They're having the Habs October.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of another thing on Habs world, did you see the Demidov goal?
Yes, I did. He's ready, man. He's so ready.
People in Russia are ready for him to come to Montreal. They're like
He's ready.
even like Russian hockey fans of the
That's
KHL
insane.
are like this kid doesn't should not be in the
Love
KHL
it.
anymore. He's too good
He's
for
a
it.
guy that you put in the
And he
lineup
is
in the second line, like in the second line. He's the guy that you put him in right
well,
away.
you're gonna stick him on your second line right off the bat. Next year
Yeah,
he's gonna start. He's probably gonna start with Doc and Line.
and Dock and line, which is what I would think. Yeah,
Yeah, take Newhook's spot. Newhook will drop a line, which will make it
yeah.
easier to move Dvorak.
He's been doing all right. I mean, the whole team's been doing all right. But yeah, I still think at the end of the season you have to cut those two off. Well, even Armia. He's a nice player. He's a good player.
I
I feel like we
Here's
lost the
where
need for him
I
now.
wanted to ask you: do you keep Arm? Like, I think you need to keep Armia on a 1 or 2 year deal, worth
If
like
he's
$2
willing,
million. If he wants $2 million a year, if he'll agree to it, you should because
if
he's incredibly on the penalty kill. He might even be better than Evans on the penalty kill.
if you're getting rid of Pizzetta, if you're getting rid of Dvorak, give him a shot. Make him an offer.
It, I
Make him an
mean,
offer.
I don't I don't know who can replace look, the Habs have a replacement in the wings for Evans. Owen Beck could be that.
He could. He's not. No guarantees.
There's
Which
no
is what I'm.
guarantees,
Which is
but
what
you
I'm
could
like.
kind of inch him along. But
Inch
who's
him
there
along.
to actually replace who in the lineup is actually able to replace Armia's role on the penalty kill all of a sudden? Name someone that can do Armia's job.
The thing with Armia is that sometimes he'll perform lights out and sometimes he won't. So I
He
feel
hasn't.
like we
He's been
and for a
performing
fourth line
consistently all season.
and for a fourth line player, inconsistency is whatever. It's replaceable guy. That's where I stand with him.
I don't know if it's replaceable on the penalty kill. His penalty kill game, it's very, very hard right now to how you need to develop something quick to figure out the loss of that. Because I don't think Heineman is that type.
He's not because he's more offensively
Yeah,
focused.
he's. I'm Heineman would be the closest.
There's defensive forwards in the NHL, like or not defense, but there's two-way forwards in the
Well, I
NHL. Like
guess
I'm
you
not
could. What you could do is you could force, but you don't want to put back to the wing. Although on the penalty kill, he might be able to do that.
on the penalty kill. I think it's okay.
Yeah,
Five on five, 5 on 5. I wouldn't want
maybe
to.
he can learn how to be the replacement of Armia because that's what
Maybe,
a guy that can.
maybe.
But you know who I think could do really good on the penalty kill eventually? Slav.
Who's this? Yeah, yeah,
He
he could.
has
I feel like he could.
he can skate when he's on his game and playing properly. Like now he's actually gotten to the level where
Yeah,
the last like 4 or 5 games
maybe
we've seen him.
maybe that's the next step for him. Maybe
Because I remember last year I was watching him. I'm like, this kid can be Marian Hossa. He can play
could
like
be.
Marian
He
Hossa.
could be. Yeah, he
He
could be.
reminds me of maybe I'm not going to say he'll be as good as Marian Hossa, but his style of play reminds me of Marian
They
Hossa more than anyone.
they said that on draft day exactly. So yeah,
No, I thought I heard a lot more Rantanen. I've been hearing a lot more
I
Rantanen.
heard maybe I heard one or two that said it was Hossa,
I
but
thought I
yeah,
was the first person to come up with that, and then I heard other like scouts say it. But I thought the first time I ever heard it was from my own mouth about a year ago.
it might I might have heard it from you.
It might be me. That's it because it came from my mouth first, and that's I don't think he looks necessarily like Rantanen. Rantanen is more flashy
Rantanen, and that's why I think
and a
yeah,
sniper,
Rantanen is more flashy.
whereas I find
Slav had Slav could have a shot. I've seen flashes of it,
yeah he does have the but he's not. It's
but
not
Rantanen, yeah,
all
Rantanen
the
is known to help with
all the
that. Yeah,
flashiness.
yeah, it's not.
Yeah. So we got
But Rantanen is more known for that. You're right there.
yeah no. Slav does more. I think he'll have a better defensive game than Rantanen when it's all said and done, but he'll be less
Yeah,
offensive, and
yeah,
that's where a Marian Hossa comes in.
yeah.
Marian Hossa didn't have a lot of 100. I think he hit 91 season.
For he
I think
was
that
like,
was it. I think he hit 91 season. I could be wrong about that.
was it with Atlanta or no? It was with Ottawa.
No, it was with Atlanta for
90.
sure.
It had to be Atlanta.
Maybe
No,
one
wait.
time with Ottawa, but no, his best season, I think I might be, was definitely with Atlanta. I think it was in 05, 06.
90. It was 100. Atlanta. Oh, that's 06, 07.
Okay, so it was 06, 07 he had his best season?
Then there was 92 with Atlanta in 05,
Okay, yeah.
06.
So his years in Atlanta were really the best. But I'm just saying, like, he'll always be remembered for being like a very
He
good
went
two-way.
he went
I
80 for
guess
80
you
in the
look at his
02, 03
Chicago years,
Senators.
but yeah, no, with Atlanta, like he was really the alongside with Kovalchuk. Like I'm seeing this now,
Yeah.
but otherwise, you could see he would flirt with a point a game being like I was gonna say like yeah, and I guess what I was saying is besides Atlanta, then he always
Yep.
flirted with it, kind of hit it with Ottawa, but as he got older, it looked like That's where he became more of a
It did.
defensive role. Still a guy that would put up
Yeah.
60, 70 points every year, but and I think Slavs can be that, like a guy that will put up 70 points. Like, don't expect him to score 90 points. No one should do that with him. Now,
He's the guy
Demidov, on
that'll
the
be
other
that.
hand, that guy is he's gonna hit 100 one time at least. He'll be
Has
a
to.
90-point
Has
player.
to. The way he plays,
First one we'll see in our first
yeah,
time we'll
you're
see
right
one
there.
in our lifetime too. Isn't that exciting?
It will be.
He's
That's
scoring
gonna
right
be
now.
fun
He's
to see
scoring
for
like
sure.
a goal a game, a goal and an assist a game in the KHL because they finally give him ice time, and now he's
Be a
too good
pro.
for it.
Literally be a pro. Unbelievable.
He is Be A Pro right now. That when I play Be A Pro, I score exactly one goal, one assist. I feel
Yeah,
like that's exactly my stats on a game.
it seems like that. Oh, I
You
can't
know,
wait for
like
him.
that's my average game, and then sometimes I score four goals and like out of nowhere on Be A Pro, like one
Yeah,
game.
it'll happen. It'll happen.
It'll happen. I know that you used to like playing as a two-way defenseman though,
Yeah, I did. So,
so you probably got less points then.
no, I mean, well, okay. So I felt that, well, I upped my skill, like, like the skill setting. I always up that when it got too easy. But I started off playing as a left winger. But then I realized it was more fun to play as a defenseman because, like, from the point on the power play, you just get the freaking slap shot. Like that was like my play style. Like every
Ah, okay.
time on the face off, when as a defenseman, you would just freaking slap it, and I would love those slap
I
shot
guess
power
I
play
play more
goals.
like a power forward,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but I choose like my own height, so I'm like a tiny power forward.
Okay,
I'm like 5'7" on the ice as a tiny power forward. It's kind of funny, but I play like power forward as a
so
five.
that's why, like, with my height, I kind of act like a defenseman because I play like a defenseman. So the last one I did was with St. Louis, and it only let me play for 10 seasons, which was okay. It was fine. I
What
made the Stanley
it
Cup.
wouldn't let you go beyond 10?
No, it was because my game would keep on crashing after 10 seasons.
Oh, I never knew
So,
that happened.
and this is NHL 22, I want to say, or 20. It's probably 22, and it was with the Blues.
Oh, I didn't
And
know that it would just crash.
yeah, so every time I tried sending it next forward the next season, it would just crash. But I just stopped at 10 seasons anyway.
I was so happy.
And
Actually, NHL 22 brought something that a lot of people might not expect is amazing, but for me, it was the first time my last name was actually in the game for a play-by-play.
oh, cool. It
So,
might be back. I think there isn't there not. Well, there's not now. The
well,
closest one would
it
be
is it's officially in the game.
it's officially in the game now. Okay, cool.
Like I'm just saying, like from 20
From
NHL
2022.
22
Yeah,
was the first time, and that was exciting to me.
nice. I always use Grant because Grant was in the game, so I
Yeah,
just use
yeah,
that one.
exactly. I used to use Nick.
Or I think one year I used Molson, but I don't know. It felt weird.
Well, why not? But yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be weird for sure.
yeah.
Uh, then what was it? In NHL 07, like it was all like these nicknames. So I went with like Fast Lane or something. NHL 07,
I I either use like rookie or captain or something like that.
yeah, something like
one,
that.
one of the two. Yeah, one of the two there.
But NHL
Uh,
07 was amazing.
yeah. I literally bought Legacy Edition because my first Legacy Edition I bought was scratched and it wasn't playable or readable on the disc. I literally rebought it and I still play it. I love Legacy Edition
Oh,
because
is that the
that
NHL like 14 or 15 thing?
it's the NHL 16 of like the old of the past
Okay, yeah,
console.
It's
But
NHL 16, but for like PS3 or
yeah, so for my 360.
Xbox 360.
What I love about it is that there's a good mix between the live the life aspect and what it is today. So like, yes, you have the conversations with the coach. Yes, you have your conversations with the media, but they're literally like multiple choice form and they no cutscenes, so you don't have to always watch and sit down and wait for the cutscene to happen. You can just literally see the screen right in front of you. You get to create storylines like it did. A very quick one was one year I did a sim and I got drafted by San Jose. And because this is 2016, they were a fairly good team. So it was my rookie season. So it asked me if I wanted to pull a prank on my coach with the team. So me thinking, okay, cool, it's gonna boost team chemistry with the team. Rather than doing that, it got the coach mad at me and I got traded
What?
for pulling the prank on him. So he's like,
That
you can't be
actually
doing this as a rookie. It actually happened. And the funny thing is that from San Jose, the coach traded me to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. That's
So
awesome.
the Stanley Cup final was in real life that year. It happened, But in the sim, it must have been like I don't know Minnesota versus like the
Yeah,
Rangers or
no, the
something like
sim
that.
would
But
be
still,
different teams,
the
but
fact that my rookie year they had me pull up or like I chose to pull a prank on my coach and he traded me to Pittsburgh. That was like some of the funniest things that
yeah,
ever
no,
happened to me.
there's been a lot of funny moments of just weird
I
things.
love it, and every year I try to do one. This year for 24 or well 25, I still have 24. I tried picking my own NHL team, but I never stick to it because I wanted to put myself as like a grinder for Philly just to play with Delorier one year and stuff, but I never really played the full season with it. Next year, like again, so when I get my next gen console, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna
Yeah,
start
because
it up
now you need
again
next
and keep
gen.
on doing that. Yeah, exactly. But I still love NHL 16 or NHL Live the Life.
Oh yeah, I still
It
will
was so
always
fun.
love NHL '07, NHL 2004. Just the
And
dynasty mode on those games were great.
oh, they were. And just please, just next season. I know it's minor, but just have the outdoor games again. It was
Yeah,
fun. Outdoor games are fun. I still play
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Uh,
So now let's discuss like what the next week will be. So we're going to be playing on Thursday tomorrow against Detroit. I think that
Tomorrow,
can go either
Detroit.
way. So good
Either
the
way,
game,
good tests. Yep.
and then the biggest test the next week is against Winnipeg, who have been on fire this
Ooh,
year.
yes,
And we
that's a
don't
good
have
one.
our secret Jets weapon, which used to be Justin Barron. He used to just show up for those games.
You know what? Yoel Armia, you used to be a Jet.
Yeah,
I'm
him too.
calling
He
you
shows up.
out. I'm calling you out. You're doing it.
Okay, good
And
point.
Jake
Yeah,
Evans, get revenge on Shifley.
there you go. Exactly. Anyways, so this has been your Canadians Cafe podcast. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good week, guys. Go
We're going
Habs,
four
go.
for four. 4 for 4.
Yep.
Calling it. Let's do it.
All right. Bye.
Until next time.